course, we don't know when the federal election is going to be, but there's lots of people that want to tell us about what's happening in different local areas. So every now and then we want to check in with different people that are running in different local areas to get what their sense is of things on the ground. Let me explain. Colin Boyce is going to be running for the LNP. He's a passionate man who is going to be running in the seat of Flynn, replacing Ken O'Dowd. Flynn is an area which is in and around Gladstone, which of course we visited for our town a couple of months ago, and I'm pleased to say Colin joins us now. Colin, how are you, mate?
I'm well, thanks, Paul. And you?
Good, mate. Now, I know you've got lots of headlines about net zero, your position on that and not being in favour of it, but I just wanted to ask a couple of other questions, right, which is your sense of how politics is playing right now in Flynn. Ken O'Dowd obviously has been around for a long time. You're hoping to continue his record of a big win at the last election. We know what the net zero politics is, but when you walk around the streets in that part of Queensland, what are they fired up about at the moment?
Well, Paul, the biggest single topic obviously is the net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Flynn is a unique electorate in Australia, given the fact that we are very carbon intensive. We've got agriculture that produces absolutely anything in terms of food and fibre produce. We've got 3 coal-fired power stations. We've got a dozen very big coal mines. We've got heavy industry at Gladstone, the alumina plant, a couple of alumina refineries, the smelter, the big end of the CSG gas industry, Wiggins Island Port Terminal, where 70 million tonnes of coal went out from last year, all of the associated industries with that. And people are asking the question, what exactly does zero net carbon emissions mean for me? What will it mean for my future? What will it mean for my job?
So you've heard what the Prime Minister's had to say, you've heard what Barnaby Joyce has had to say, that effectively there's no change on what the policy has been to 2030, and all of the ministers saying there won't be a downturn in any of those industries that you've said. Is that what you're willing to look people in the eye and say? Because that seems to be the view of the government about where they've landed.
Oh, look, absolutely, and I appreciate Mr Morrison's point of view, and democracy has prevailed in the party room, in the Nationals party room in Canberra. I respect that. Mr Morrison is in a position where he has to take an agreement to Glasgow, to the meeting over there next week. Obviously, he has to put Australia in the best possible position in terms of the rest of the world goes. I think we all appreciate the politics of that. But at the end of the day, what people at home, in the people of the Flynn electorate, in the people of the industrial city of Gladstone are concerned about is how those discussions and how those meetings, what will take place and how it will affect them. That's what concerns them.
Oh, absolutely. So obviously there are minor parties that are going to be running. They're going to be running on, maybe a black and white version of it rather than the shades of reality. So is your expectation that you're going to be dealing with not just the Labor Party but those minor parties as well? I mean, One Nation got, I think, the best part of about 15%, I think, at the last election, let alone Palmer and whatever they can serve up.
Oh, look, I think, Flynn's been held by Mr Ken O'Dowd for the past 4 terms and he's done a magnificent job. Obviously, the Flynn electorate is basically a conservative electorate. Given that, I think everybody needs to just take a bit of a step sideways and take a breath and understand the fact that Mr Morrison and Mr Joyce, Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister of this country, are doing their level best to put Australia in the best possible position they can. All of these agreements are not to be legislated. The reason for that is that Australia wants to be flexible into the future so that we can manage our own destiny. If things aren't working for us, we've got the flexibility to change them. Now, in contrast to that, Mr Albanese, who wants to be the Prime Minister as well for the Labor Party, he wants to legislate all that. He wants to put it in stone so that there's no turning around. And the problem with all of that is nobody really knows what all this technology is going to do. Nobody really knows where it's going to end up at the end of the day.
Yeah, agree completely. Nice to talk to you, Colin. Hopefully we can come your way for one of our pub tests where we get normal people to come and ask questions of yourself and the other candidates a little closer to the election. All the best, mate.
Thank you so much.